Okay. Hi Ram, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Bharat. How are you?
Fine, fine, I'm fine. So Ram, I need your help. I have a business use case in
Yeah.
this Microsoft Power Platform. So my use case is I have a business asking which there is a Power Platform where they use different data sources and which have some unstructured and unfiltered array of historical data. Okay.
Hmm.
So I need to leverage these Power Platform services to ensure that data mapping and perform all the transactional data. So I want a solution on this, and so what are the services we can use in Microsoft, and how it will benefit
Yeah.
the
Sure, sure.
user. Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. Thanks for
Thank
that
you.
one, Bharat. I think it's a
Yeah,
kind of a very typical use case where we have not seen in couple of years from the Microsoft Power Platform suite. But yes, we can leverage the services within the Microsoft ecosystem to get
yeah.
all the data from the different sources. Okay. So
Okay.
let me share my screen over here.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Let me know once you see my screen.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So first, I'll discuss about the few points which you have described.
yeah.
So I'll
Sure.
be sharing those points first at the beginning.
Sure. Yeah.
So as you have said on the business use case, there are kind of and different sources, okay, which can
Right.
be kind of an unstructured data also, which would be present in our data, which is coming from the other sources. Okay.
Exactly.
For that
Yes.
one, we would be using Microsoft Power Platform, which would be a kind of an core ecosystem, as well
Okay.
as we would be using the data which is coming from different sources. Either it might be a kind of an Azure things, or it might be
Yeah.
a kind of an Azure SQL, or any kind
Okay.
of an data sources which would be coming. The data, we
Okay.
are not being
Yeah.
very keen from where
Yeah.
the data would be stored. So
Right.
Microsoft provides a kind of an service. Okay,
Right.
Microsoft provides
Yeah.
a kind of an service which is known as Microsoft Azure Share. Okay,
Oh. Okay.
okay, which is
Microsoft
known as
data share.
Microsoft Azure Data Share. Okay,
Oh.
this is a
Okay.
kind of an service where we can leverage and we can
Yeah.
use it in our PowerApps ecosystem. Okay,
Okay.
PowerApps
Yeah.
ecosystem to get all the data.
Oh,
To get
nice.
all
Yeah.
the data. Okay, so this is the kind of service where we're gonna use over here. Okay,
Okay.
so after that, all the transactional data can be performed. All the transactional data can be performed in Microsoft Power Apps
Okay.
and Microsoft Power Automate.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
where you gonna hit all the transactional data and you can store all those things into your Azure SQL as a
Okay.
destination
Destination.
data
Okay.
sources. Okay.
Yeah.
So being the entry point or the source destination would be from the
Yeah.
various
Right.
sources. So we would be using this source destination from the various sources, and we would
Yeah.
be leveraging using Microsoft Azure data share, where we're
Yeah.
gonna use this data share into a kind of an source destinations where it
Okay.
gonna have a kind of a single entry point to our Microsoft Power Platform. With
Okay.
that, we're gonna do the Microsoft transactional data in Microsoft Power Apps and Power Automate. Being
Okay.
Azure is a kind of an premium connector. Okay,
Right.
Azure is a
Right.
kind
Right.
of a premium connector where we're gonna use the premium
Yeah.
connector and we're gonna use in our Microsoft Power Platform ecosystem. Okay, so this
Okay.
would be
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
kind of an solutions where we're
Yeah.
gonna leverage over here. Okay, if
Sure.
the
Okay.
customer is
Yeah.
unable to give a kind of an licensing
Yeah.
for a kind of an premium connectors, because we are using Azure Data Share, this is also premium connector. Azure
Yes.
SQL, this is also premium connector. So
Yeah.
with this, there would be a kind of an transactions for the premium connector. So I would suggest
Yeah.
on a licensing part, kindly have a kind of an Microsoft SQL Server with Power Platform. So with that, it's
Okay.
a kind of
Yeah.
an license where we can leverage it and we can get a kind of an enterprise discount based on your company's engagement or your organization
Yeah.
engagement. Okay.
Okay.
So in that
Yeah.
manner also we can leverage it. If
Okay.
the customer is not having that kind of a things, then we can use a kind of an custom
Ah.
connector. Custom
Okay.
connector with a kind of
Right.
an API key authentications. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Custom connector
Okay.
with API key authentications. Okay. Based
Okay.
on that authentications, you can use a
Yeah.
kind of get method, post
Right.
method, put method, or
All
delete
flexible
method,
methods.
or
Yeah.
any kind of a
Yeah.
method. So we can leverage those things. But it is a
Okay.
kind of an time consuming where you need to expose your internal application services where you
Right.
gonna receive it via an API. Okay, that depends upon
Okay.
your service providers and other stuff. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this would be kind of an cost cutting for your
Ah.
licensing part. Okay, so
Right.
coming
Right.
to a kind of an overall architecture point of aspect. Okay,
Yeah.
so I would give a kind of an things where I want to showcase.
Okay.
Yeah, so here we would be having Azure SQL.
Yeah.
Okay, so this would be a kind of an we would be using Azure Data Share. So this is the Azure Data Share.
Exactly what this Azure data share will do? Yeah.
Yeah, Azure Data Share is a kind of an service which leverage to
Okay.
get us data from different scenarios to get
Okay.
with the multiple data providers. It might be a
Okay.
kind of an data which would be very simple, or it might be a kind of an data would be a kind of an unstructured format also. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so using
Okay.
data share, a data provider can share data and manage their data
Hmm.
all in one place.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
so they would be staying in the control of their data, which would be
Yeah.
handled in terms of their data leveraging. Okay,
Hmm.
so the
Right.
data consumer
Yeah.
must have these data share before
Yeah.
receiving a kind of a frequency of the data at the own
Right.
customer point of aspect. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in the same manner, we're gonna use Azure AD.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a kind of a domain services where we're gonna use our Power Apps. I don't think so. Power Apps will have over here. Let me. Sorry, I'm just copy and pasting some other things.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Yeah. I think draw.io must give this power platform
Y-
icons.
Yes, yes. I don't know why it is not giving now, but So these are the users.
Okay. Yeah.
These are the users. Okay. So based on these things, we can develop it. So right now, you might be getting some kind of a data, which kind of an access we're gonna give over here. If you are
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
kind of an Power Pages, it gonna use a kind of an Dataverse as a data source. Okay, where you're gonna
Okay.
use a kind
Yeah.
of an virtual tables. Okay, based on the virtual tables, you can get all the data to be loaded into your Dataverse. Okay, because directly we
Okay.
can't load
And
all the
also,
data into the. Hmm. Yeah,
you just
please.
mentioned virtual tables, right? So
Yeah.
in Dataverse, there are some tables which we generally will have default tables like accounts and other
Hmm.
things.
Yes.
So, and what exactly the difference between these tables and the virtual tables in Dataverse?
See,
I
virtual
mean,
tables are nothing but if you want to get
ah,
all the data where
okay,
this Dataverse would not be allowed. Okay. So based on that, these virtual tables would give a kind of an
okay,
overview, which also integrates the data which residing in an
okay,
external systems. Okay, apart
okay,
from the
okay,
Microsoft
yeah,
data. So by having
okay,
these virtual tables, it's also known as an
yeah,
entity in our Microsoft Dataverse. Okay, so these
right,
Dataverse as an which as an entity which creates in our Dataverse leverages the
right,
benefit of getting the data from the external data source. Okay, it might be a
right,
kind of
right,
an Azure SQL databases or any kind of
right,
an tables which would be kind of an format of table rows. But
okay,
the data that is sourced from an external databases that has to be very
right,
important. Okay, because
okay, yeah, yeah,
Dataverse includes an OData provider. Okay, where you can connect with
right,
an OData V4 web services. Okay,
okay,
that is a
yeah,
kind of a most important thing which we have to know where we are developing this Dataverse.
right,
Okay,
okay,
so
yeah,
with this virtual table, there are a lot of benefits which can be leveraged. It might be gonna fetch XML data, which we're gonna use for
ah,
reports and dashboards also. Okay,
right, right,
so this would be kind of an overall architecture that we're gonna leverage over here. Okay, on a case-to-case basis, it can be modified into kind of a smaller point of aspects also. Okay, where we
right,
can
right,
leverage
okay,
this data Azure data share. Okay, so
yeah,
Azure data share is one of the most important thing where you're gonna use a kind
yeah,
of an data sharing across your Azure subscriptions. Okay,
right, okay,
so it can be pulled a kind of a trigger also. So if you want to have a kind of an data to be stored into our Azure SQL before performing any kind of an transactional data, then you can do one thing. Then you can use a kind of an Azure data share directly loaded into your Azure SQL via jobs.
okay,
Based on that,
okay,
it's gonna store all the data into the Azure SQL so that there will be kind of an
ah,
to and fro data connections to be added into your
right,
Azure SQLs. Okay, so that also
okay,
can be
yeah,
done.
right, nice.
Okay.
So this Azure data share, if I have a subscription of Azure one and subscription
Mm.
Azure two, so we can share data with the Azure data share, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but there is a kind of a limitations on because if you are using your Office
Hmm.
365 license on a
Okay,
Southeast Asia, okay,
right.
so there is a kind of an limitations also which I would see on an Azure data share because there is a limitations
Based
for
on
the people
regions.
regions also. Okay, so we
Okay,
have to see
yeah,
on those aspects better where your Office 365 license has been added. So based on
okay,
that, we need to leverage those services.
okay. So what are the two or three benefits we can get from this now?
See, when you are having Azure data share, right? As I have
Uh,
mentioned, we can get all the services which are present in your
uh,
other data, which have a
okay.
kind of an unstructured point of aspect. Okay,
Uh, okay,
where
yeah,
this
yeah,
data share, which has a kind of an securely getting the data from the different sources on a multiple ways and stores in a single point of contact. Okay, so
Okay,
that is one
got it.
thing
Yeah.
which, yeah, that is one thing which we're gonna see, as well as there are few benefits on which we're gonna see when you're gonna use this Azure data share. Okay, there are
Yeah.
no kind
Yes.
of an infrastructure which that we need to set up or maintain. That is one thing which we're
Like
gonna
a
see.
virtual machine and virtual
Yes,
networks,
yeah, yeah,
these are
just
not
like kind of
required.
an, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So
okay,
we
okay.
don't
That
require all
saves actually the
those.
cost. Yeah.
Yeah, it will also share the cost. And also the point of having the Azure data share would have a kind of an complete insights of combined data from the third parties. And also
Okay.
on top of it, if you want to leverage any kind of an visualizations based on your
Right.
AI also, okay? AI also can be
Uh,
added to visualize your data.
okay.
Okay.
Got
So
it.
that would be
Yeah.
kind of the key points where we're gonna use this Azure data share.
Okay. Nice. Got it. Yeah. So
Okay.
now, yeah, we got the
Yeah.
clear picture on this for multiple data sources thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Bharat.
Thanks. Thank
Let
you.
me know if you
So,
have any other business use case so
sure.
that we will work it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will discuss like weekly or monthly some business cases
Sure,
so
sure.
that
Yeah.
our subscribers can get some benefit on this.
Sure.
Okay.
Definitely. We'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ram.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bharat. Thanks.
Thanks.